The XFL had their highest attendance yet, week 3, 81,942 fans combined for its weekend. Now let's start with the Saturday games. It was the Houston Roughnecks against Tampa Bay, 34-27. The game aired on ABC, and it was a 0.5 rating, better than NXT, better than AEW. The Dallas Renegades were at the Seattle Dragons. Seattle won that. There was 22,060 fans in attendance for Seattle's 24-12 victory. By the way, there was 18,117 fans in Tampa. And that second game with Dallas against Seattle aired on Fox. The New York Guardians faced the St. Louis Battlehawks before the biggest crowd in the new XFL's history, 29,554 fans. That game was on ESPN. St. Louis won 29-9, and it got a 0.47 rating. Finally, DC lost to LA. Go LA. 39-9. Yeah. My God, I think I screwed up one of these. Man, I actually literally haven't slept in a day. Maybe that's my problem. But I know LA did beat DC 39-9. That was a huge upset. That was on FS1, and that was a 0.37 rating. It's the St. Louis versus New York. I somehow screwed up. Oh no, St. Louis versus New York was 29-9, and LA beat DC 39-9. I was just a little confused there. Call it CTE, call it what you want. The least attended game in XFL history took place in LA, where they faced the DC Defenders. LA had lost their first two games, so I could understand why the crowd was down. That show, or that event, had just 12,211 fans, which is still way better than wrestling draws for the Raw and SmackDown tapings most weeks. Now, the XFL rankings going into week 4, Houston is number 1. They're 3-0. St. Louis number 2, 2-1. Dallas number 3, 2-1. DC's number 4. Seattle's number 5. LA's number 6. New York's number 7. And Tampa Bay, the home of Brian Knobbs, is number 8. So there's your XFL news update as far as ratings and attendance. And I even threw in the scores, even though I was a little bit confused. Chug Alert says that's a nice draw. Brandon Archer says I look like Tyson Fury. Well, I'll take that as a compliment. I think I got a couple more scars than Tyson Fury, though. But you know what? That shows you that he's a better fighter than me. If you're prettier, you're probably better at dancing around. Brandon Archer says XFL has been fun to watch so far. Victor Murphy, Haku and the Barbarian. Yes, they are coming to Great North Wrestling this weekend. Richard M says Americans love football. XFL should stick in their lane and not compete with NFL. I think they are doing that, and they seem to be not crossing over with wrestling too much. Chug Alert. Did I watch the Fury fight? I watched the highlights of it, but I'm sticking to XFL for this topic. Fury was my prediction to win, and he won. He did have a huge weight advantage. He also had a height advantage. Maybe someone could answer me this question. I know it's not football, but I believe Fury weighed in at 274 in UFC and even amateur wrestling. I don't know. The amateur wrestling weight limit always changes, but it used to be 265 for amateur wrestling too most of the time. It was 285 one year I amateur wrestled, but I was always way under when I was doing amateur wrestling. Richard M says, so far, so good for the XFL. So yeah, I'm actually happy that attendance is increasing every week. That is a good sign. Ratings are holding steady. They're not doing too badly, to be honest. There was not a huge, massive drop like there was with the first XFL, and the huge negative feedback with the first XFL that had wrestling commentators commentating football. I know JR also commentates football, but when he commentated the XFL, he was wearing his wrestling gimmick, so I think that took away from it. Not to say that he was a bad football announcer. I'll be honest, I never really watched beyond The Rock's promo of the first XFL season, and I've only seen highlights of this season. I am not the biggest football fan, but I am interested to see how they do business-wise. Victor Murphy, this is another boxing question. If they don't make weight, they don't get the pot bonus if they win, or is that old style boxing? Well, for heavyweight, it doesn't appear there is a weight limit. For other weight classes, yes, there would be a penalty. Samuel Forganham's TV ratings down again kind of scares me. They're not down that much, and these are not airing in prime time like wrestling is. So I wouldn't say that the ratings are that bad. I would say they're pretty good considering what XFL wants is to eventually get a big TV contract over the next few years that will cover the operations just like WWE has. WWE's ratings have dropped every year. Their overall attendance has also gone down when you consider their overall house show attendance and TV taping attendances. However, they keep making more and more money from TV rights. And as I said, XFL is doing pretty good for ratings considering the time slots they're in and the quality of the football, which from what I understand is below CFL. So there we go. Have a good night, everybody.